So let's now consider delegation. Delegation is the most important aspect of team leadership and development that we can possibly have in an organisation today. As I've said before, one of the most critical parts of learning any skill and really consolidating the knowledge that we can give you is actually by doing something. It's about thinking how this can apply in practice. And this is why our courses have got great international renown. It's why people keep coming back to these courses. So let me now ask you to take about 3 minutes to simply take a piece of paper or pen and paper or your mobile device or laptop or whatever, and simply jot down an answer to 2 of the following questions. The first question I want you to think about and write something down about is, from your experience and perhaps your knowledge, what do you think we mean, or what do you mean, by the term delegation? Okay, so just jot that down, and the question again is, what do you or we mean when we talk about delegation? What is it? And the second question I'd like you to answer within that short time scale is, what are the advantages of delegation? In other words, you have subscribed to a course largely about delegation, so you must have some idea of what delegation is. But what is it, and what are the advantages of delegation? So I'll give you around 2.5 to 3 minutes to just write that down, and then when we come back, I'll have a little discussion about what I think delegation is and the advantages of delegation to the leaders of today and tomorrow, as well as those, of course, who are being delegated to. So just let's take that little time out for the moment. So again, thank you for taking that 3 minutes or so out. It's really important that you do these exercises because it allows you to think, and in doing so, embed the knowledge that you receive from the course. As I said, we have got lots of experience of doing these internationally, and we've refined these exercises to the ones that are really critical to your understanding. So have a look at your notes and just reflect perhaps on what I'm about to say in terms of delegation. So one definition is that delegation is the transfer to a subordinate, or the person who is reporting to you, the responsibility for carrying out a particular task. So delegation is transferring responsibility for carrying out a particular task, while at the same time providing the necessary authority to achieve that task. So we will go into more detail later about authority and responsibility. But what we're really saying here is that you give someone, normally someone who's reporting to you, the responsibility for carrying out the task. And you must also give them the authority. Because without authority, it is not good to ask someone to be responsible if in effect they are unable to make it happen. So for example, if I was to say to one of my staff to contact a manager of a branch perhaps to get some data from them, but not to give them the authority, they might contact the branch manager and ask for that data, simply for the branch manager to say no or to be difficult. However, if I give them the authority, it means that they are coming to that branch manager asking, if you like, on my behalf, and therefore they have the authority to insist that that manager gives them the data. And of course, if they do not, they are then answerable in many ways to myself, just as if I had asked them myself to do the task. So I hope you appreciate that with responsibility, you have to give people the authority to enable them to achieve that task. I hope that comes across in what I'm saying, and hopefully some of what you come up with in terms of definition of delegation understood that it was about transferring something that you rightfully should be doing or do to someone else who wouldn't normally do that task. And that's really important, and I'll keep coming back to that. It is not about giving someone a piece of work that they would normally do. And that is where some mix-ups happen. Sometimes people see delegation as when the manager takes tasks and allocates it to their staff members. That is not delegation. It is only delegation where the task is something that could rightfully be expected to be done by that manager, and he or she asks a subordinate, as it says here, to do that task for them. So I hope that's useful. So let us now consider the relationship between delegation and leadership, which after all is what it's all about, because you are either the leader of today or the leaders of tomorrow by the virtue of an interest in this course and your investment in time and perhaps money. So it is an extremely complex but nonetheless crucial relationship in terms of organisational development and individual and team success. So delegation is a social skill. It is a skill that is required by leaders in all types of organisations, both to effectively and efficiently empower and develop staff to obtain their own team and of course organisational objectives. You might talk later about the need for there to be a golden thread between what the mission and vision of the organisation is, through to departmental objectives and targets, team, and right down to the objectives of an individual employee. So, an appreciation of the critical importance of delegation does require an understanding not only of what delegation is, and the importance of authority, responsibility and accountability that we'll talk about later, but also about those factors that influence the way in which we lead. The different leadership styles that people have, and indeed that organisational culture encourages and rewards, are all critical parts of the recipe for effective delegation and, of course, successful development of individual staff members and the achievement of objectives.